Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, here's another bitter truth which you may have missed it in your spiritual path as a reference. And the reference is waking up to the truth is about fucking up your comfortable life. That's right. The journey is about the destruction of the self. The destruction of the self also means the destruction of the ego. Ego, self, mind, they are the same thing. So to see the truth, you have to destroy yourself. You have to destroy the ego self. When you are attached to the mind, associating with the mind, clinging to the mind, that clinging to the mind itself is the sign of ego. Notice right now you are heavily attached to something in your life, isn't it? What's the reason for the attachment? Is the comfort. Everybody is attached to something because there's a sense of security, sense of fun. And human naturally cling to certain stuff when the stuff is provides this support. So to wake up to the truth, the inner truth, you have to give up. Some level of giving up has to be there in the inward journey to experience the death of the ego. Especially the places that we are heavily attached, we have to give up. We have to disengage from them. When you hear the idea of letting go of the comfort, or letting go of everything, notice the ego is already fighting to let go, isn't it? The ego self in you resists to let go. Because the ego self thrives on holding on to the layer. When the idea is there, letting go, the ego resists the letting go. So, to see the absolute truth, you cannot hold on to the layer. You cannot maintain your ego and also try to see the truth. It doesn't work that way. Any layer that is left, that itself is the blockage, the barrier to see the truth. To see the truth, one has to be completely empty. By the way, the truth itself is a consciousness. You are the consciousness. The nature of the consciousness is conscious and empty. So to get to the consciousness or truth, you have to empty yourself. So you cannot cling on to something. That's how things are when you're walking back. So, this waking up to the truth is the self-inquiry journey. It's about questioning oneself, why we cling onto things. We've got to question ourselves why we see something as true, or why we cling onto something and think it's true. And questioning is the way whether what we assume is true or not. Basically, all assumption is false. Right now, There's so much assumption in us, isn't there? So much thinking in us, so much idea, so much belief, so much preference in us. And definitely, those preferences, those beliefs is helping you in the relative world to make things go better in the world. Because the world is about the pattern. And the mind is also the pattern. So when you're aware of the relative world, the outer world, when your awareness is there, when you focus, you see the details, and you're just rearranging yourself, with those details, putting yourself physically there. And with that, you can always make things better in the world. And that creates a freedom. That creates a growth if you're really, seeing the details and how to coordinate yourself with the details. But when you see that, the growth in the world, and you're experiencing the momentary freedom, you cannot have the same assumption to the inward journey. The outer journey is about the patterns, layers, reorganizing the layers. The inward journey is about giving up the layers. All layers must go. So that's the journey. So, if you're interested in figuring out the truth of who you are, question yourself. Don't be lazy. We are all interested to question others, question the world, why things are unfolding, how things are unfolding. We are interested outwardly, but we seldom question ourselves. Question ourselves why we have certain assumption about things, why we have attachment to certain belief. We seldom ask ourselves a question. And that's the reason the struggle is there, the fear is there, the conflict is there in life. The issue is never ending. Why? Because we have never truly questioned ourselves all the way to figure out the truth. And when the truth is missing, then the struggle is inevitable. And when the truth is missing, ego thrives. We naturally cling on to something to identify ourselves with something. And that is who we are right now. You identify yourself with however your environment is molding you, you identify yourself with that. Your career is your identification. Your relationship is an identification. And the rest is all the same, isn't it? But notice whatever you identify yourself with, and you are having fun. There's a sense of stability, but you feel something is missing, isn't it? Because you're not satisfied with whatever you're experiencing, going through in your life. You're not satisfied with that. You're still seeking for more and more. And the ego, self, is all about more and more. Basically, you seek more and more. Hopefully, the seeking will eventually lead you to the true freedom. But seeking outwardly is never going to take you to the freedom. The outward journey is never-ending journey. The outward journey is so vast, there's always something new you can experience. And life is about that, experiencing. But if you don't realize who you are, and that seeking never ends. You're never content, never happy. Only seeing the truth, the inner truth. Once you realize the truth, the truth itself makes your life content. Once you realize who you are, you'll be content. Until you see the truth, the outward journey will never make you content, and you know that. So, again, waking up to the truth is about fucking up your life. But that fucking up your life is about taking out the false, taking out the illusion in you to see the real. By the way, this sounds like destroying your life, but in the truth context, that's the only right thing to do. Once you be part of the inward journey, figure out truth, then everything is much easier. The outer struggle still will be there, but you won't put yourself in the unnecessary struggle. You don't invite the unnecessary struggle in your life. You observe, you see, you align, and let things unfold. That's how it works. Okay? So, the question is, how do we get to the truth? Investigation, investigating your life. And we talked about attachment. You just work on the attachment, you know. Why am I attached? That's it. You turn the awareness back to yourself. Keep the awareness on yourself and look at yourself. Why am I attached? And sit with that question, why am I attached? And let that question reveal the answer for you. You are attached, there should be the answer. And whatever answer resurface, use that answer. Use that answer. Why is that important? And this way, whatever answer comes in, you have to use the why to every answer until you figure out the root, and the root must be dismantled all the way until there's nothing is left. This is the way to be thorough in your life, to become a thorough of your mind, to understand the nature of the mind. And when you understand the nature of the mind, and when you ask yourself, who am I? That's where you'll catch yourself. That's where the awareness will be aware of his own nature. That's enlightenment. And that's it. That's the end of this spiritual journey and Easy Living Stars. And by the way, yes, spiritual journey ends. Okay, when you see the truth, that's the end of the journey. People say, oh, no, a spiritual journey never ends. No, it ends. If it doesn't end, you haven't seen the truth yet. So figure out the truth. Figure out truth. Investigate your attachment. Investigate your fear. Why am I attached? Why do I have fear? That's the simple way to get to the truth. Anyway, I hope this video makes sense, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.